Hey everybody, it's Romania Black, and we're on episode 11, 1 of Blue Lock season 2. And I have 2 full Kool-Aid jammers in this sucker, ready with my atomic blue drink to get this party started. But we have some comments to look at before we start episode 11. But like ever since the match has started for this U20 versus a Blue Lock match, it's been amazing. But damn, there has been quite a discussion of Reen versus Sai and which brother is the bigger victim. And I like playing devil's advocate for both because they're both dramatic divas. And I love them both for different reasons. So they're both brats, they're both bastards, but they're both great. So I'm like, I am not as hardcore adamant of which one is the better brother. Like, to me, it's like Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC. I just like the boy bands. I just put 98 Degrees in there and we're great. Or O-Town or one of those. So, if you know those bands, you are clearly not Gen Z. So, welcome. Anyway, I've got some comments I want to talk about before we start this whole thing. Toro Titanium said that Sai, they talked about the readjustment. I really liked their comments, so I wanted to kind of talk about it verbatim. They said Sai saw becoming a midfielder as a readjustment of a dream. Reen saw it as discarding it altogether. They were one unit in this dream, Sai and Reen. So it's a ripping of that entity in half, something that makes the dream incomplete. Reen lashed out and put it into the context of losing. At the start of the flashback, Sai says that anything besides becoming the best striker in the world is meaningless. And Reen, they're little kids who soak everything up that his big brother says and parrots back essentially the same thing in the confrontation. In that moment, it's not just Reen, his little brother, who is the only one who he behaves differently towards, the one who'd follow him everywhere like a duckling, that's reacting to the adjustment, but to a crushing defeat. Not only that, it's like Sai is being confronted by his past self and his ideologies, because Reen kind of represents that when he goes back and sees him in the snow-covered track field, being like, oh, you were me before I went out to the real world and realized how hard this was, right? Sai seems so defeated. It's like he's latching onto this new dream for himself with desperation. And that's exactly how I felt about it as well with that episode. Being burnt by his experience in the greater world, it can't be a defeat if he's got something new to aim for. Exactly. That's why it's like, it is kind of settling because you're like, oh, well, if I'm just the best midfielder, then this is a readjustment of my dream. I'm not defeated. I didn't lose. I've just found new context. And it's like, well, yeah, okay. But Sai hates losing. And we talked about this last episode. And with Reen reacting as if this were a great loss, the tone of the conversation plummets from there. Yeah, it's like Reen didn't understand because Sai didn't communicate what Sai was going through. And Sai doesn't realize that he's kind of created this monster with Reen. And it's no wonder that Reen thinks this. So, Sai gets a win here, but it doesn't feel very good. No one wins. Not really. And then Toro Titanium says, I love it so much that you talk about the characters. Your reaction to Reen had me like, yes, so cute. And Sai had me like, yes, that theatrically repressed, unhinged boy. Yes. So yeah, they both just need to communicate more. They both are in the wrong in different ways, but they're both in the right in different ways. And that's what makes their dynamic so good. And I just can't be part of that like Team Rin or Team Sai. I'm kind of just rooting for the Itoshi brothers to find a sibling bond with each other again. That's really what I would like. But I feel like it's such a great conversation goer. And I've really enjoyed reading everyone's comments about, who believes what, because it's easy to get attached to these characters, right? So Wim has a big comment, and I want to talk about their comment as well. Wim is our moderator, so kudos to Wim for moderating these comments, especially these last couple of episodes. Wim says, it's funny how Sai was so casually half naked, putting moisturizer on his face, ready to dip. Also, and I really, really like what Wim said about this, I want to appreciate how Blue Lock shows a glimpse of the character's hygiene and self-care routines, with like Chigiri's hair routine, Reen's yoga, Nico washing his forehead, Sai and his moisturizer. It all makes them feel a little bit more human. Also, growing up, I felt like the men around me, or the people that identified as men, they very much were like, and usually it was like a femme, a sign, or a AMAB, assigned male at birth. I feel like a lot of the guys that I grew up with, they were just like the 31-in-1 body wash that's also a shampoo and also a conditioner. They just like, I felt like it was considered demasculating to talk about self-care and talking about a routine. Like, I coach a speech team and we have to tell the male presenting people on our team being like, yeah, you're probably going to wear makeup and concealer because it's going to make you look better when you give your speech. And it seems so weird to say that, but it is kind of a revolutionary idea for some men, at least in America, to be like, oh, I have to wear makeup. And I'm like, yeah, all men on TV, 99% of them are wearing makeup. So it's just not presented that way societally because makeup is viewed as a feminine thing. So I do appreciate Blue Lock so much for showing these men doing self-care and doing facial routines and things like yoga and stuff that is traditionally, at least in Western society, viewed as feminine. But it's like, no, it's just self-care. There's no gender assigned to it. So I'm 1,000 times on board with talking about that. And I love that Wim brings it up. Wim also says, I have a lot of respect for Aiku for making that bet and for admitting weakness. I think this is the first time we see Aiku with his green aura instead of red. And this totally escaped me, but yeah. So just like in Blue Lock, where the characters start out with blue auras and then they become whatever colors associated with them, the U20 team is starting out with red auras and then it's slowly becoming their actual colors from within. So Aiku having the same color as Isagi, I mean, but that's going to be interesting to see what the other colors are as well. So I'm going to be curious to see like what Sindo's color is. I mean, we know what Ryusei's color is, but I'm going to be curious to see Sai's as well. I think it's like aquamarine too. I don't know. Also, Wim says that Sai's wording of I updated my dream stood out to me. The word update sounds quite clinical, like updating software or policy. It's not negative like give up, or positive like upgrade, like how Hiyori talked about Isagi's improved reflexive thinking, like he was upgrading from 4G to 5G, and it's not even neutral like change. It seems like Sai is saying that in his dream, it's version 2.0, a very stoic, despite how bleak Sai looked in his description. Yeah, I agree with that. And then Sai switching paths also makes me think of season 1 with Ego's despair and crossroads speech about Baro's awakening, and also season 2 episode 1 when Isagi was choosing between Rin and Nagi and reasoned, well, I bet it's not actually about what the right answer is. What matters is your resolve to turn your decision into the right answer. So yeah, I'm still waiting on us to get Sai's perspective on the dream, and I think we will get there. It's just a matter of time. And I feel like it's going to happen towards the end of the game. Maybe not this week, but maybe next week or maybe the last week of December. Who knows? And then Baby Rin, his hot spot reminds me of Asagi's goal smell. Both were instinctual, and since they both really developed their spatial awareness. Also, Rin has a temperature motif, like with lukewarm and hot spot. That's really cute. And then finally, they talked about the jerseys, which if you've not watched other sports anime like Haikyuu or Kuroko's basketball, then this probably won't mean much to you. But Wim says, I personally think of the number 11 jersey in Blue Lock as representing protagonist energy. For example, Isagi from the first selection in the U20 game, Nagi from the first selection, Naruhaya from high school, Sindo from the U20, and in this episode we learned that Rin wore number 11 in middle school. Ta-da! Also in soccer, the number 10 jersey is traditionally given to an offensive midfielder, which is Sai's position. Sometimes 10 is given to the ace or star player of the team. So the characters that have wore number 10, Raichi in the first selection, Baro in the first selection, Zantetsu in the first selection, Reo in high school in the second and third selections, Sai in middle school in the U20, and Rin in high school in the U20. And by the way, in soccer, number 1 is almost reserved for the goalkeeper always, which is what Gin is wearing in this game. Yay! And then finally, Zequazidios, I didn't say that right, but you know who you are, said, before any news about the anime came out, we heard that a voice actor was laughing a lot at his lines, but nothing was said about who it was. But we could probably assume that it was Ryusei's lines. I can't imagine saying that they're going to blow their load in a studio. Yeah, I would have loved to have been in the recording studio with the voice actor for Ryusei. I would have died. That would have been amazing. And speaking of voice actors, there was I believe Wim put this on the Discord, saying that in addition, another important theme that Urasan, who is Isagi's voice actor, mentioned this season was the epic sibling battle between Itoshi, Rin, and Sai. So I want to hear Isagi's voice actor talking about Rin and Sai and their takes. I was there when they were recording the flashback episodes for Rin, and I think the younger Rin that Uchiyama-san portrayed is very cute. I'll say it again because it's a key point. The younger Rin is very cute. It's so endearing that it's hard to imagine this from the current Rin and Sai. I want everyone to watch over them and see why things become so strained and how the sibling fight will unfold. On the other hand, I'd also like the viewers to pay attention to the relationship between Rin and Isagi. Oh, I want to read this! In the first season, Rin's presence was akin to an enemy, or rather an opponent to fight, so I tried not to let my guard down during the recording sessions. But one day, while recording for the second season, I caught a cold and my voice was nasally as a result. Uchiyama-san called out to me and gave me some advice, saying, "This is what I did." And when I heard that, I suddenly felt a weight lifted off my shoulders. It was then that I realized, that's right, Rin is a comrade. From then on, I feel my attitude towards the post-recording has changed, and I think the awareness of being comrades fighting together is more reflected in my voice. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm living. I'm here for it. I'm sure that Isagi's voice actor is not suggesting that it could be anything more than what it is, but I'm here for it. Yes, please. Cool. Awesome. And I've talked for 10 minutes. Okay, well, y'all, I'm so excited. That Kool-Aid, it really hits the spot, but I'm going to save the rest of it because I have a feeling I'm going to need it. I've already got an extra one chilling in the refrigerator because I have a feeling I'm going to have to top it off. But I'm super excited for episode 11 of Blue Lock. I sure hope that you all are as well. But, I can't wait to see what we get. So we're going to start episode 11 of Blue Lock. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And I'll see you all on the other side. Yeah. I said I wasn't going to get another drink, but one for the road. All right, Blue Lock. What you gonna give us? Oh, we're going to go back to Rayo. Yeah, this moment. Oh, and this kid. Oh, well. Little kid, your dream's going... Oh, yeah, I forget Kinyu's in this. Yes. And Bachira was right behind him. Huh? Oh, nice. That's a good move. Yeah. Nice. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. With the vignette. Uh-huh. Nice. Good job, Hiyori. Nice. Okay. Don't jinx this, Isagi. Ah! Oh, are we gonna have cops and robbers this episode? Ah! Ah! Oh, wait, I can't watch the OP yet. Okay, fair. What you taught us. Who is the you? Oh, love it. Who intrigues you, Mojito? Oh, he is intriguing, girl. Oh my god, what? What does that mean? Ah! Oh my god. Oh my god. It's like, can you wait till the game's over before we do it? Can you do that? Can you stop with the innuendos till we're done? Oh my god. Tactics. I'm just here for the blowjobs. Oh my god. He's like, this is life and death. Oh, okay. Oh my god. Ah. Well, yes, we've seen that. Give me the ball, genius! Oh my god, the chanting. Oh! Oh, wow. Okay. I do stand up. I'm here till Thursday. Oh, bitch! What? Ah! Good job, Geen! Go, my CGI! Fly! How can you be more explosive? Why is Ryusei so existential? Oh my god. Oh wow. Or hurting them. Are we sure about that? Oh. Right. Soccer is my way to carve into this world. Oh my god, what? Uh, uh. Oh my god! He's gonna shoot his load! Get back! Oh my god. Oh! Oh yeah! I loved it! What? Oh my god, what? What is the child laughter in this? Of course Gojo's voice actor would have this moment. Oh my god, the zone! We've entered the zone! Oh my god. Ah, the shitheads who don't know me! Oh my god! What? Oh my god! That's his catchphrase? That's his catchphrase? We can't put that on t-shirts! You can't sell that! Why is he balancing the wine? Oh my god! So that's his orgasm face. Well, okay. He's like, I won't let him knock you up. Oh my god! Oh! You shut the fuck up! What? Oh! You don't get to do that in public. You don't get to public. You don't get to do that in public, you horny devil. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. No heterosexual. No, there's just none. There's just none. What else do you want me to say that has not been thought? My brain is fried. I wanted to have sex with the gold too. I mean, it's one goal. You guys can catch up. Nagi! Oh my god. Oh my god, Rain! Rain! Isagi, shrimp boy, don't give up. Come on now. Come on now. Well, girl, did you not just see? Eagle's like, I know. Oh. Oh. Oh! Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Wow. Oh. Oh. Oh, wow. Oh my god. Oh. Wow, I didn't think he was going to go this route. Oh. Oh my god. That's not going to be good enough for him. That's not going to be good enough for him. Oh. Oh. Oh my god! Yes, Isagi! We ain't dead yet! We ain't corpses yet! Oh. Oh! Oh! Oh, good! Do it! Do it! Oh, it's red! Oh! Oh no, the red is Borrow! Ah! 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 Yes, please! Yes, please! Who's going out? Oh, Ida, okay. Oh my god! Ah! Burrow gets to come in! Yay! Oh, well, they could not be more opposite. So. Ah! Oh my god. Shut up! Oh, do they only get so many substitutions in a game? Wow. Oh my god. She's like, we don't have a lot of experience with this. He's the one that can match Ryusei in this. Right. Oh. Don't jinx this, Henri. I want to see Isagi go up against Aiku. I need to see that. Oh. Oh. In your dreams. Ah! Ah! No, hold on. Reina's been storing up this madness. Oh, quit looking glorious. Baro's like, I ain't drinking your Kool-Aid. Oh, hell yes. Hell yes, please. Okay. I love that Baro is just like, let my arms, let my guns be free. I don't even need the sleeves. Right. Okay. Oh, we did have conversations with all of them. Uh-huh. Oh. Right. He's like, I wasn't gonna listen to you anyway. Oh! Ego, are you trying to get all the ships afloat? I mean, I liked it. We give Kensho Ono some time to talk. Oh. Oh, but Baro's gonna try to devour him. Yes, exactly. No! 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 Exactly. Ah! Be very, very quiet. I'm Isagi hunting. I'm hunting shrimp. Right. He's kind of like Ryusei in that regard. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes. He's the Joker. Like Ryusei, yeah, that now it all makes sense. Yes, yes. Love it. Oh my god, Ego. Oh my god. What? But what about Aiku? I mean, right. He'll probably just carve one out for himself. Oh. You're thinking too much. Oh my God. Oh, love it. Oh. Ah! Oh my God. Yes. Oh. Oh. Shit. Yes. Yes. Oh, good job, can you? Look at him. Nope. Can you make that happen? Can you make that happen? Oh. 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 Where's Aiku in all this? Oh my God. Oh, what? What? You modeling? What? Oh my God. There's Aiku. There he is. And there's Aiku. Okay. Oh, bitch. Oh, no. Oh, crap. Don't. But is it? No, Aiku's gonna be there. Of course he is. Of course he is. Aiku's like, yeah. Yeah, no, he was headed towards there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, it was gambling. Somebody score! Come on! Oh! Oh! Good for you, Aiku! Oh! Well, yeah, seemingly. Oh! That was it? No! No! I wanted them to score a goal before this episode ended to tie it. No! Ah! Ah! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna have to fill this up just because of Ryusei in this episode. I'm gonna have to fill this up just because of him, honestly. What even? What even? I am floored, y'all. I'm sure there'll be an additional time, but oh my God, what an episode. What an episode. How much fun. How much fun. Oh, do we want to pass on that genetic material? I don't know if we do or not. Oh. Ooh. Uh. Diva. Oh, well, no, I'm gonna... No, that's just you! Yes! It's just condoms. Yeah. Oh. What? Don't finger it too much. Oh my God. Right. With the little crowns. Um, and that little oh my God. What? What? I mean, yes. Did he just steal it? Oh my God. Ah! What's an overnight bag? Oh, honey, you don't know what an overnight bag is? Oh, Tepe. Oh, Tepe, you are the most precious. I really hope that people adhere to the headphone warnings this episode. What? What? We stopped playing soccer long ago. I went and filled up. I could chug this whole thing when we get to Ryusei's scene, but we'll just see where we're at. But oh my God. What I find interesting is that the U20 players, which you could call Ryusei half Blue Lock, half U20, started in Blue Lock and then converted over, but technically U20. What's interesting is the U20 players are the ones that are getting into the flow before our Blue Lock players, if that's really even the case. Because, I mean, could you consider Rayo being in the flow? I don't know. I maybe not. No, they think that Aiku is by the end of this. I was so frustrated because I wanted them to catch up and tie the game this episode, but here's what's going to happen. I have a feeling that they're going to tie next episode, and it's going to be 3-3. And then in the last two episodes, which we know are playing concurrently, they're playing the same time, 13 and 14, that I feel like that's going to be the score that wins the game. They're going to tie it up, and then there's going to be one more goal, and it's going to be like a back and forth volley to see like who scores the last goal. And then I want it to be Blue Lock, but I don't know if it will be or not. Honestly, I want it to be Blue Lock, but I don't know if it will be. I hope that it is. We'll talk about this episode, but damn, this game has me invested. I want, and here's the thing. I was so happy for Aiku by the end of it that he got into the flow. I was so happy for him. And we'll talk about why when we get to his scene, but I was so happy for Aiku, and I was like, yay, you're finally getting to play soccer like you want to. And it's all because of Blue Lock and then Ego's whole speech, but I don't know if Isagi will unlock his flow this episode. It almost felt very intentional that like Isagi, do I picture Isagi unlocking his flow this episode? This season with this game? I don't think so. I feel like maybe Rin will unlock his flow, but I feel like maybe, I don't know. I feel like Isagi is going to kind of get there, but I feel like Isagi's better days are to come. Does that make sense? I feel like Isagi is going to set a lot of things up this season, but I feel like Isagi's champion hero moment is going to be in a different season. And now I could be wrong because he's been prefacing all season that he's going to score this goal and save the team and be the one to do it. But the question is he going to be the one to score the goal? Is he going to cause the team to lose? How do they want to do it? So that there's a lot that could still happen in these last 3 episodes, but damn, what a crazy episode. So I love that they made Aiku, whenever Reo looks like him, look a little bit more youthful. Like he doesn't have as much lines under his face and stuff. He looks a little bit more youthful, but it's Reo. Also, Reo has arguably a much deeper voice than I think of when I think of his character. So when he gets all gruff and gravelly with his voice, it's like, okay, Reo, good for you. What I thought was interesting is that he's like, I won't let this end with me in defense. Where he says, we're going to win this game and I'll be a striker again. That part was interesting to me because, you have Nico. And I brought Whiteboard Kun out for a different reason, but we'll put this up here. But you have Nico, and you have Sai, and you have Reo. And you have these three together, right? And then I guess, you could put Isagi out to the side if you want to. But what's interesting is that Sai has a whole idea about updating his dream to being a midfielder, which sure, cool. Then you have the idea that Nico, he is totally settled in being this defender. Like, he likes it. He's discovered that he's kind of like Aiku. He likes being a defender. He's like, I didn't think I would enjoy it, but it's really kind of cool. And Sai seems like begrudgingly doing it because he thinks this is where his talents lie. But Reo surprises me a little bit because he's like, he wants to go back and be a striker alongside Nagi, which I think is interesting. So I don't know what to make of that. I don't know how Reo's ambitions are going to shape up. If they don't win the game, then that's, a whole different thing. But I kind of like the spectrum that we see between Sai and Nico and Reo in terms of how they feel about being strikers versus defenders versus midfielders. I think it's an interesting discussion that we're having. And then Nagi's just like, we can do whatever you want. Nagi doesn't seem to care, but I kind of like that. And I like whenever Reo looks at Nagi on the field, there's like a little black vignette around him. Like Reo doesn't care about anybody else. It's just Nagi. Like, Nagi's the only one for me. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. So meanwhile, Isagi's like, okay, what do we do with this? And I love how Hiyori's plays are viewed as inspirations. Like, that part's really cool. Where you say he broke through the stalemate, did the variety of attacks, got the ball over, and Rail was able to shut Ryusei down. But I'm like, as every time, I'm glad that I normally don't applaud Ego for shutting Henri up, but when she was like, it's our path to victory, he's like, stop talking. Why do you guys keep jinxing things? Like, Isagi's like, oh, Blue Lock is starting to turn the tide, and arguably they are, but in different ways. But I absolutely, I like this reasoning where, and of course Isagi's like, it's time for me to score, but unless I get past their captain, I can't do anything. So here's the thing. He's like, I'm going to crush Aiku, but I need more pieces to make it happen. So here's the thing. Aiku has unlocked his flow. And in doing so, he's not just thinking ahead, but now he is relying on instinct and taking a gamble. Right? And I feel like for Isagi's like, he has to get past and score. And so what that may have to involve is for Isagi to gamble himself. Isagi and Aiku are both kind of similar in that they're very tactical players, and they use their field of vision to kind of determine where they need to go. Now, you could argue that Aiku has more experience than Isagi, so he's better suited at it, and he's had more time to be in that defense position doing that skill set. But Isagi is kind of like Aiku in that they very strategically map out the way that they're going to do things. I would say Isagi's biggest detriment is like this line here before the intro. He's like, I need more pieces to make it happen. Isagi, you got to stop relying on those pieces. You got to just be like, oh, I only have half a puzzle. Fine, let's solve it. Let's crush the Wheel of Fortune. Let's figure out what the rest of the answer is and just go for it. And I feel like that's the one thing that holds Isagi back sometimes, is that he gets in his own head too much and he overthinks instead of just doing it. And Aiku is now just doing it, and so it's working for him. So I don't know. I thought this episode was all going to be about Isagi versus Aiku. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Now, next week could be Isagi versus Aiku, which would be really cool. And I feel like maybe will Isagi get a chance to score a goal against Aiku next week and tie the game? I don't know. I don't know if Isagi's going to be one to score the goal next week and tie it. I don't know if Isagi's going to be the one to score a goal and end the whole game since he's the protagonist, but this series doesn't like to reward him as the protagonist. And I don't know if he's going to just fuck it up. And they're going to lose, but I hope they don't lose. I hope they don't lose, honestly. So I really want them to win because then I want Blue Lock to absorb the U20 and like make them part of the team. Like that would be kind of cool. So the episode's called What You Taught Us. And I was really hoping that it was referring to Ego, but I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. I like Louis Vuitton Irwin here talking to Femme Mojito and being like, she's like, I don't know why, but that player intrigues me. Girl, you're lucky he's not interested in reproducing. You're lucky that that's not his end goal, or I'd be telling you to get away from him. But yeah, he is definitely intriguing, that's for sure. Dear God, this whole cup is going to be for Ryusei, right? So let's break this down. So we have, just this whole episode, the sex between Sai and Ryusei, shut the frick up. And the additional time, they clearly were looking through, I'm assuming they were looking through Aiku's bag instead of Sai's bag, which Sai's bag's just chocked full of condoms and moisturizer, so you do with what you will on that. But basically, we have the idea of Ryusei over here, right? And then we have Sai over here. And so basically, I like that we start out this with well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna put Sai down here. That way you guys can see a little better because my big old head's in the way, right? Right? Yes. So I like this idea that as Ryusei walks up to Sai, he's like adjusting his gloves. Like he can't be bothered. He just gave him this amazing pass. And even though he messed it up, here's the thing. Ryusei messed up the pass, but Sai doesn't really get onto him, which is so fascinating to me because Sai gets on to literally everybody else. Like he makes fun of Sendo. He docks down his brother. But when it comes to Ryusei, he's like, I guess. But anyway, he's like, oh, hey, Sai, as he comes up there with his thumbs in his little uniform there, like ready to drop trow at any given moment. And so he's like, that was a nice pass that you got there. He's like, playing soccer with you is all kind of fun. You can say playing soccer is a metaphor for whatever you want to say, but we'll take it literally today and just say that he really likes playing soccer with Sai. He's like, but then he said, my brain's getting a stiffy from all the electricity. Y'all, this voice actor must have been having the time of his life recording these lines. I don't even know what to say in response to that. There cannot be a reactor that watches this show, looks at Ryusei and Sai and goes, they're just good friends. There's none. There's no way. You are in stark denial. Like anybody else in this series, I know I ship a lot of BL. I know I make up a lot of ships. I know that I am like, they seem like they would be a ship too. And you'd be like, well, they're just platonic friends. Like, you know what? 90% of these characters in this series, sure, they're just friends. They're just good pals. They're just forever teammates that are going to go on and have completely heterosexual relationships. Sure beans. But you cannot look at Ryusei Shidou and Atoshi Sai and tell me that. I'm sorry you can't. There's no way. There is no freaking way. Nope. Like, and maybe you could say, well, Ryusei is just horny. Horny for soccer? Sure. But there's a couple lines in this that I was like, are you sure about that? My brain's getting a stiffy from the electricity. I love that Sai responds like, what does that mean? That is the best thing Sai has said this entire series, being like, you're just making shit up. That makes no sense whatsoever. But then he's like, oh, it beats me. I like even Ryusei's like, I don't know. I'm just feeling really sexual right now. Right? Says, it's like my idea of freedom has finally been understood. The children laughing and the choir? What? The music score in this episode was off the wall. It was insanity. He's like, I feel a big bang coming on. And he gets all emotional and like all riled up. And I love the size just... That's kind of why I love their relationship, is that Ryusei has to bring Sai down a peg. Ryusei is so batshit horny crazy that it makes Sai be the anchored one instead of the unhinged one, right? And he's just like, okay. He's like, I get that you're happy. He's like, look, I get that you're happy. You're having a great time. But as they pass the ball, he's like, now go deliver us some more goals, devil, Akuma-kun. It's like, just horny. And then Ryusei's like, okay, like he just gets sent off. So Ryusei and Sai, like he starts out here where he'd pass the ball, right? He'd pass the ball to Sai and it had missed. And Sai's like, you know what? You tried. That's real good. So then what he ends up doing is going over here and then making this turn, being like, the world doesn't know me yet. And then I love this description of passes and tactics and a sure way to win. And he's like, that's lame. He's like, you're all so lame. How many times do I have to say it? Soccer isn't a support. It's life sustaining. I should have gotten that Baro would be used as a counter to Sai. And I don't know if I talked about that earlier on in the series or not, but it makes complete sense because Baro may not be at the level that Ryusei is in terms of soccer is my life sustainability. He may not be at that point yet, but Baro is like Ryusei in the fact that he doesn't really believe in strategy either. He's like, you just go score. You score the ball, you score the goal, give me the ball, I'll do it. Like, he's very similar to Ryusei in that regard. Ryusei, honestly, is kind of like a combination of Rin and Baro in a way. Because Rin, back in season 1, was saying that soccer, winning and losing, isn't an option. Soccer is about survival. And soccer is my breathing, which he probably got that mentality from Sai. So that translates to why Ryusei and Sai get along so well, because Sai kind of agrees with Ryusei. And Ryusei is like, no, it's not just about winning and losing. It's about surviving. And this is what I got to do. And it's in my cells and my DNA and my bones. And Sai probably feels the same. I'm sure Sai still believes that Rin is playing soccer because of him, not because he wants to, but because of Sai. But I think that's why Sai kind of loves Ryusei, because he's like, oh, well, you have the same obsession with soccer that I do. And that's really important to me. And so that's why I think that's why he's maybe a little bit more lenient towards him. But yeah, he's like, it's life sustaining. He's like, my weapon is extreme spatial awareness, where it's all geared towards scoring goals and survival on the team. Penalty area perfection. So yeah, once he gets to this area where he's at the penalty box, right? Once he's there, he is like, once I'm in this area, I am solid. I'll be fine. So it's kind of a turnaround from the beginning, right? Where he was passing the ball. He's like, as long as I can once I get in this area, I can score and it's not going to be a problem. And then I love they just see Sai ahead and he's like, pass it here, genius. Go ahead, pass it here. He's like, every single cell in my body exists to score goals, right? And then, of course, that's when Reo shows up. And Reo's now copying Kurama as well, or Beardy as they call him. He's copying his play. I love that Ryusei's like, are you an impersonator or something? Are you just crafty? And Reo's like, well, that makes you the guy who lost an impersonator. I like that Reo's like, I know you are, but what am I? Like, sort of like that response right back to him. He's like, should we just call you a brat instead of a devil? And then I love that Ryusei gets all pent up and frustrated about that. He's like, you're nothing, whatever. He's like, you're just a copy. So then the ball, he kicks it, but it manages to go to Gin. What can we do? So he manages to go to Gin. Maybe it goes out a little bit more. Maybe it just goes out a little bit wider. Yep. Manages to go out to Gin. What can we do? A good job, Gin. Nicely done. And he gets frustrated. But he's like, I just need to be more explosive. Then he goes into this existential monologue where he talks about how humans exist to leave something of themselves behind. And he talks about, the idea is like the act of leaving your genes, your genetics is programming inherent on all living things. What I kind of like about this, though, is that he discusses not only like reproduction, but about legacy. He talks about leaving memories behind by connecting with people or hurting them is the same, which is kind of crazy. He's like, you can leave behind memories by, like connecting and being intimate with someone or by hurting them. And I'm like, oh, it's a little bit violent there, but you're not wrong. What I liked about Ryusei's speech was he doesn't talk about just like kids. He's like, some people have children, which we'll talk about that in a hot second. But he says some people like have artwork. They create something, aspiring to be someone that matters. He's like, some people are artists and leave behind like a piece of artwork to be viewed and talked about forever. Or they aspire to be like a business person who creates a legacy with a business that will be remembered and to matter. And he's like, and of course, having offspring, like the fact that he said having offspring in the most clinical way possible is a sign that Ryusei does not aspire to have offspring. He's like, acts of carving proof of your existence into the world. He says, for me, soccer is that act. I'm going to leave behind my legacy through my soccer. I have to heighten my senses. And to me, he talks about scoring is fertilization. You don't get much more sexual than talking about him being the sperm and the goal is the net. He's like, a joyful birth is that. And then the moment he says a joyful birth and Sai jumps into the limelight, into the spotlight to intercept the ball, I don't. And he sees him, he's like, there it is. He's like, my explosion coming to me from Sai. He's given me this chance to have a climactic release. And Sagi's like, well, nobody could possibly get there. But he saw it coming. And he says, it's mine. I'm clean through. And now just the goalie. And so the goalie was going to take it away. But no, he ends up going for it anyway. And he's like, nope, I got this. And like all the nuclear, like the moment the nuclear cells and everything goes through, he's like, my soccer cells, giving him wings, stirring him to spark. And there's like, basically, this whole thing are sperms penetrating an egg. That's the thing in the background. That's the cell. It's not just cells being born. It's sperm penetrating an egg throughout the entirety of this entire move. It is the most sexual thing in a sports anime I have ever seen. And he's like, my big bang drive. And he goes into the flow. And he says, let me announce to all you shitheads who don't know me yet. And his catchphrase is, with my goal, with my genes, I'll knock you up. You can't put that on a t-shirt. It's not gonna sell. I mean, it would sell, but I don't know any corporation that's gonna be on there, right? And of course, Ego's like, okay, the first to enter the flow in this match was Ryusei. Of course. So Ego's been in this state before. So it seems. Yeah. Oh my god. So anyway, he goes there, he scores the goal, as one would. And has an orgasm face that is teleprompted for everyone to see in the entire audience. And all of the old men have wine glasses bobbing on their head. That face is absolutely terrifying. Insane. World Class's debut. This girl's like, damn, wish he wasn't into guys. And then I love that Aiku's like, it's okay, Shidou. It's okay, Sendo. It's okay, Sendo. And then he goes past Teppei and then we're gonna go. And they're like, oh, hell, the aerial killer. And like, they all are gonna go hug him. And he immediately bypasses them to go back to Sai. Right? To go back to Sai. He just makes like a little turnaround, goes back to Sai. And it's great. It's just absolutely wonderful. And then amazingly, unlike Rin, who jumped out of the way and let Isagi crash to the ground, Sai lets Ryusei just hop on his back like a leapfrog. Here's the thing. If Isagi scored a goal, would Rin let Isagi tackle or hug Rin? Debatable. But the fact, I think Sai is just like, okay, you scored a goal, good for you. And then Ryusei just attaches himself to the back of Sai, which is feeding my bottom Sai agenda, just so you know. And he was like, I'll play soccer with you forever. And I'm like, now, you could also argue that Ryusei received his passes from Sai, so maybe this could be flipped around, perhaps. But maybe they're both into both positions. Maybe they switch. Maybe they're verse. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're like, whatever. I'm all for it. I'm into this. And he's like, when I'm with you, I start throbbing like never before. I mean, that's all I needed. That's all I needed. I want to play soccer with you forever. When I'm with you, I start throbbing like like I never have before. What else do you want me to know about them? And I love that Sai doesn't blush, but he just throws him off. And he's like, you creep. And then he's like, I told you to score a hat trick. He's like, so don't touch me until you have, you horny devil. So don't touch me until you have, you horny devil. That is Sai basically being like, look, I'm down for this, but you gotta prove it. Let me know you're worth it. Oh, I'm sorry. What? What is a hat trick again? What was a hat trick again? What is that in soccer? It is scoring 3 goals in one game by a single player. Okay, well, who scored the first goal? It was Sai, wasn't it? Did Sai score the first goal? Was it Sai or was it Ryusei that scored the first goal? I think it was Ryusei. So he scored 2 goals. So, I mean, if he scores one more goal, then Sai is down to clown and leave his mark on the world, if you know what I'm saying. That's all he's got to do is score one more goal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Ryusei is like, sure, I'll do whatever. He's like, okay, I can do that. He's like, if I score 10 goals, we'll be roommates. And Sai does not deny. Sai doesn't say, I don't sleep with guys or I don't want to be with them. No, they're perfectly fine. I love that Rin this entire time is just sitting there seething like, how dare they? The audacity in front of my salad. Like, that is Rin in that moment. And Isagi's like, wow, I want what they have. I'll take what they're having. That he's like, none of us could handle Ryusei, but Sai had faith in him and knew he could push him. So I like the idea because honestly, with Shidou, it was Shidou, not Sendo, but Shidou in this flow state. I feel like at that moment, Isagi was kind of inspired because if you think about it, Isagi and Sai kind of have the same positions in the game right now. So Isagi's like, wow, Sai has figured out how to use Ryusei and basically dominate him, which again, that would kind of fuel the top Sai people in the world if you're believing in that. They can switch. Why can't they switch? But Isagi is kind of saying, wow, Sai was able to control Ryusei when none of us could. And so Isagi's like, I kind of want to be like Sai and be able to control characters like Rin to do what I want. But at the same time, I think what separates Isagi from Sai is that you have Sai over here as a midfielder. And he's like, well, I can score on my own, but I can also use Ryusei. Sai is pretty confident in that at this point. And Isagi, who is also kind of in this same kind of position, is saying that he wants to score. He wants to score on his own, But right now, his opponent is Aiku that is preventing that for him. And then he wants to use Rin, but it's just not quite there yet. Sai's kind of in the way there. So I feel like I feel like in the next 2 episodes, we have to, 1, get through Aiku, which is going to be freaking hard because Aiku just unlocked his flow, but we're going to have to get through him, and then Rin's going to have to get through Sai. And Isagi is going to have to help Rin be able to do that. That's what needs to happen. And I feel like Isagi at this moment is realizing that that's what he's going to have to do for this all to work, right? And he's like, damn it. He's like, and then of course he's like, well, he pulled off what I wanted and what I needed to accomplish. Guided by the genius that is Atoshi Sai, the devil has awakened. Yeah. And so he's like, that's what I need to get done myself. Meanwhile, he's like, they've swallowed up this match. What are we supposed to do? Meanwhile, he's like, Rin is over here seething in the same way. So I want Sai, I want Atoshi and, not Atoshi, I want Isagi. Did I say Atoshi this entire time? Anyway, I want Isagi and Rin to be able to do what Sai and Ryusei are doing. That's what I want in this next couple of episodes. I don't know what's going to happen and if that's going to happen, but you can definitely feel that both Rin and Isagi want to do what they want. They want to be in this position as well. Is essentially what I'm getting at. So yeah, he's like, am I going to be able to do this? Now, this part of the episode was so wild. And I don't know if it was Ego legit testing them to see if they had the resolve or if he was being truthful here. Because Henri's like, what do we do? And Ego's like, I can't get you any further now. I mean, Ego obviously was being a little bit dramatic because he had the trump card of Baro as the other Joker in the wings ready to go. But I do believe that Ego's like, look, I can't, once they're in the flow, I don't know how this is going to end up. So I can't predict where it goes to from here, And she's like, what are you saying? If we lose, that's it for Blue Lock. And around that time, that's when Isagi shows up. And Isagi's like, I don't want this to end. And, we've been fighting just like you told us. And again, I feel like at this moment, Ego's making a stand. And Ego's saying, because Isagi came up to him and was like, relying on Ego. And Ego has always been like, you can't rely on people. You have to do it yourself. And so at this moment, I felt like it was a test from Ego. It felt like, what this felt like was Willy Wonka talking to Charlie at the end of the Chocolate Factory, at the end of the Chocolate Factory, where Charlie's like, well, but why this isn't this? And Willy Wonka's like, well, here's what you get. You get nothing. Good day. And so then Charlie has to stand up and be like, no, that's bullshit. I don't accept it. And that's when Willy Wonka's like, okay, that's the correct answer. This felt like a Willy Wonka moment where Isagi was like, but you've taught us, and so we've done everything you said, so what more can we do? I don't want to lose, but how can we win? And at this point, Ego's like, look, you can't rely on me to tell you how to win. That's not how this works. So Ego comes up with this other strategy. He's like, Blue Lock has already won. He's like, if they dismantle Blue Lock, then that means you're not permanently barred from playing in Japanese soccer again. And he kind of reveals, kind of some ulterior thinking I hadn't even thought of, where he's like, well, Blue Lock's already won. He's like, we dominated the first half. Ryusei triumphed. He's like, this is all going according to plan, which I do believe him. He's like, if we lose this match, Blue Lock and all the rules are done. There won't be any eliminations. You won't be banned from ever playing soccer again. So it is what it is. But he's like, the end results are already here. He's like, look, I'll be cast out of Japanese soccer forever and forgotten. Whatever. I feel like Ego doesn't care about himself despite his name. And what happens is just his legacy, which I was kind of like, but that's the point here. He's like, none of you will disappear. That's what I loved. It's like in this moment, it kind of goes back to what Ryusei was talking about. Like the Blue Lock candidates, they're not Ego's biological children, but they're kind of like the Blue Lock children of this. They're kind of like Ego's kids, essentially. They're his legacy. So he's like, look, we already won. Ryusei has made a name for himself, which only promotes Blue Lock, in a sense. Aiku, by the end of this episode, has unlocked his flow and seems on board with Blue Lock. And so does Sai. Sai seems on board with Blue Lock, or interested at the very least. And Ego's like, sure, I'll be out here being forgotten and I won't have a legacy, but you all still exist. He's like, none of you are going to disappear. And then, but the way and Isagi's like, what? Because then he says there after that, he says, discovered by Sai, Ryusei is destined to be a Japanese soccer star. And Rin will no doubt join the U20s. And that part was kind of so cruel because it's like, oh, they're going to just absorb Rin, right? Rin will just go and get absorbed. But can you imagine? Because the U20s would probably not take Isagi. They probably would not take him at all. They would be like, oh, whatever, you're mediocre, based on how he's performed so far in this game. But can you imagine Rin having to sit there, sitting next to Aiku, while Sai and Ryusei make out furiously, and Rin just has to sit there and watch them, and Aiku's like, so you're his brother, huh? Tough life, huh? Can you imagine that? No! I'm sure Sagi's like, I'm not gonna let Rin suffer that fate. No. So, but Ego's like, no, they'll probably take him, because he's good enough, and he could stand there. And then he says that powerhouse universities and domestic leagues would snap up the rest of you, opening doors to plenty of possibilities. And I felt Chigiri sitting there listening to all that, because it's like, no, they're aiming to be at the top and be the best. And would they be comfortable and happy settling for being like in a community soccer league? Like, I don't think they would. So, especially characters like Chigiri and Isagi, they wouldn't be satisfied with that. But Ego's like, it's not the end of the world. It's like, that's the level of the performance that you managed to display. In the future, there'll come a time when your days at Blue Lock will be an advantage to you. And now that you've inherited your egos, you'll change Japanese soccer. Which, on the surface sounds all well and dandy. And Ego's thought about the future for them. But at the same time, that is not an acceptable answer for what he's taught these kids. That's not acceptable for the standard that he's taught them all. And Isagi's like, are you kidding? He's like, because Ego says, stand proud, we've already won. And Isagi's like, are you kidding? He's like, who cares? He's like, this future that you're talking about. And Honore's like, okay. He's like, the future of Japanese soccer. He's like, what does that matter? What about now? Who cares about the future? None of that matters. We need to focus on here and now. I love Ego looking at him like this. And it shows all of their different colored auras. I like that Jujubee and Geens are like the same color. He's like, I want to win here and now. We don't want what's next. Losing is the same as dying, and we aren't dead yet. I love it. I love the crackling orange fire around Ego. He's like, I want to be the best in the world. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. To devour them is my real test. To get them to submit is my cause. It's like, this ego is what you taught us. Oh, I love it. And Ego's sitting there in the black and white being like, well, very well. It felt like Willy Wonka saying, you passed, Charlie. Says, then we'll go with an unprecedented plan that even I can't predict the results of. He's like, get in here, Baro. At first I thought that the red was Ego's color, but no, it's Baro. So I love that Isagi is not accepting of failure. Even though Ego gives him a nice little comfy failure, being like, well, just look, if you lose, all this good stuff's still going to happen and everything's still going to go your way. And Isagi's like, it's not how we do this. It's not how this is going to go down. And then we get Baro on the field, which I love. I love Baro joining the match. So apparently you can only have so many substitutions in a game. I did not realize that. I did not realize you could only make so many substitutions. Didn't know that was a thing. So that's good to know. And also Baro replacing Ada completely changes the game, because Oh! Oh! Oh, we'll get to have Barrow playing with Tobito now. I just realized that. Oh! I was like, oh, the dynamic's going to change. Because you're going to have like, now, Barrow and Hiyori is probably not going to get a word in edgewise with Barrow. But now, my crack pairing gets to possibly interact with Barrow and Tobito. Oh, yay! Awesome! Yes! I'm so excited. Control your bloodlust, king. He's like, no. So yeah, okay. So Barrow is now in as the right winger next to Kinyu. And then our midfielders are Isagi and Nagi. And our defensive midfielder is Tobito. Okay, awesome. Great. Wonderful. Cool. But apparently you can only make so many substitutions in the game. I like that Isagi tries to explain with his robot hand gestures what is going on. And Barrow is immediately like, not listening. He's like, we'll just do this and this. And he's like, listen up, donkey. He's like, I'm not doing any of that. He's like, I watched you from the bench. Your playing is boring. I'm doing none of it. And Isagi's like, shut up. I love Isagi's like, shut up. You've not been out here doing things. You know how hard it is. He's like, He's like, okay, this is the last sub we got. Ego's made this calculated decision. He's putting faith in us to crush them. Okay. And Henri's like, well, are you sure that this is going to work? And he's like, everything's gone according to plan. I've been Eisen up until now. We're all doing good. They still want to win this match. He's like, I just didn't realize that their egos and the fire inside of them would go beyond my expectations. I love it. And she's like, oh, I love that she tries to take that and says, oh, the promise of victory. He's like, shut up and no jinx this, Henri. They may be capable of creating a place where soccer is the most intense. Barrow looks so buff. Barrow's arms and guns out and dim gams. He has been, which granted, in all the training, he's been like getting his body in shape. So yeah, I like that Nagi calls him welcome to Battlefield King. Love it. And he's like, oh, did you get killed in action after one goal, Mr. Hassel? And he's like, leave me alone. I love they're all like, well, welcome to the field. And I love Isagi's over here like, everything's fine. Kinyu and Bachira are like, what do we do about this? And then Reen's out to the side. Like, Reen is over here being like, forget about keeping things balanced from here on. He's like, the orchestra plays and Reen's like, those up front will put all of our energy into attacking. He's like, we're going to slaughter them. No mercy. No holds bar. We'll win even if it means death. And Isagi's over here like, now calm down, everybody. So good. And Bachira's like, I'm into murder. Bachira's like, I'm into killing people. Let's do this. And Kinju's like, well, I'm too hot to be arrested, so. Love it. And I love that Barrow's like, whatever. I'm not here for a suicide pact. We're not making a blood oath. And Nagi's like, we're going to win, so it's fine. And then Sagi's like, and I'm still here too. But okay. All right. I love the idea that Ego, like, Isagi believes that Barrow is going to be part of his equation. And he tries to he's like, I'm going to be able to get Barrow to submit. And he's puzzle piecing everything together to make it all bend to his will. Meanwhile, Ego's like, look, listen up, Barrow. Like, here, Kinyu's on the field when you're subbed on, and you could break their formation with powerful dribbling down both wings. And I've told the rest of the team to build their attacks around individuals like you and Kinyu, right? But I want you to ignore all that. He's like, look, here's our game plan of attack. He's like, I know you're not going to listen to me anyway. So I want you to focus on getting Isagi to think that he's going to pass to you, and you shut him out, because that's going to confuse everybody on the field. And also, your job is to devour Isagi. Ego is creating ships in the harbor and letting them fly, right? Think of nothing but devouring Isagi. Now, what I want is for Isagi to finally figure out that that's the case and to decide that he's going to devour Barou in return. Because I feel like Isagi, we haven't seen feral Isagi in quite a while. We haven't seen feral Isagi this entire game. One thing I do kind of miss a little bit from season 1 is like the crazy faced Isagi that's like, I'm gonna eat you. Like, I'm missing that. I get that his parents are in the audience, but I want to see feral devouring Isagi by the end of this season. Like, I need that personally. But I feel like if they're going to save it for anything, they're going to save it between him and Aiku or between Sai and them at the very last of the game. It would make sense for Isagi to pull out his devouring energy around Aiku now that Barou's on the field, because if they get towards the goal and there's Aiku there, as he's just demonstrated watching, and then there's Barou and Isagi, you have a lot of potential with that, so that's fun. But I feel bad for the Kensho Ono. He is such a great presence, or Kensuke Ono. He's such a great presence, and he just gets a couple lines in this. Bless him. But yeah, so everybody's moving around. Barou steals the ball. He's going to score the goal. The one thing that is Barou's weakness is that he is not a good shot. That is his one thing. He is so intense, but ever since season 1, you cannot rely on him to score that damn goal. Like, he's real good at getting close to the goal. He's really good at powering down the field, but man, he does not have Ryusei, Rin, and Sai's luck with just pinpointing the accuracy. He's just not good enough yet. And I don't know if maybe he should have spent more time practicing goals than doing leg lifts. I don't know. But there's been so many times that Barou has missed the damn shot, and I'm like, ugh. A king only loyal to his own personal gain throws everyone into disarray. I like the idea that Ego's sense is Barou isn't quite as unhinged as Ryusei, so we can at least use it. We can at least control him a little bit because we know he is predictable. He's predictable in his unpredictability, whereas Ryusei is just, we don't know what the hell to do with this, right? So Barou's like a little bit of a scaled side version of that, right? But damn, the final 30 minutes, I'm like, are you kidding me? I feel like if we get 10 minutes in the next 3 episodes, we get the next 10 minutes of the game in episode 12, the next 10 minutes of the game in episode 13, and then the final 10 minutes in episode 14, that would roughly make sense. But yeah, I'm like, Isagi, you gotta realize that Barou is not gonna pass you that ball. No. But he doesn't get the goal. And then when he misses, I like that Nagi's like, you're too eager, you're not thinking. He's not wrong. Nagi kind of pinpoints it. If Barou would just focus and rein it in. So then we had Kinyu versus Teppei, and I think Teppei has Shoyo's voice actor. I think Urase is his voice actor. Sounds like him. So creepy, right? It's like, try to get past. His aura almost looks like it sparks pink, maybe. But my thing is, Kinyu tries to, basically, when the words fake came up on the screen, Kinyu is trying to force the flow to happen. And if you've watched Kuroko's basketball, then you would know about the zone. And you would know that you can't force the zone to happen. The zone just happens whether you want it to or not. But you can't force it. So I feel like Kinyu, he's trying to make it happen, but it's not the same. And I do love the little street soccer style dribbling with the cat and the graffiti and the street signs. It looks very modelish. So if Kinyu's a model, that all looks like a spread that you would see on a soccer magazine. Also, I kind of like the idea of like street style because it makes Kinyu kind of associate with Isagi, and they're both like, you know, the kids on the street, and then you have Aiku as the cop, which Aiku shows up to block his shot here. So it all like that ties together as well. So I like the themes all kind of running together like that. But as soon as he was like, you could see from behind Aiku moving towards the goal, and he had 3 different spots. Granted, 2 of them were kind of on the same side. So Aiku just went with a gamble, and he took a gamble to determine where that shot would go. And there she was. But yeah, it went around, and then Aiku picked it up. Yep, getting in the flow. Damn, Aiku. They did show in the Discord the screenshot from the manga of him blocking that shot last week, and it does look as unreal and insane. But yeah, Aiku got in the flow. I love it. I'm so proud of him though. He's like, he took a chance on an all or nothing leap. It was different from his usual thought out style. Yes. That was defending by gambling. And then I love Aiku saying, "What is this crazy sensation?" He's like, "I can see the most dangerous spot in the goal area. My whole body feels it." And Isagi's like, he found flow too. And he's like, "I've been waiting for a moment like this." And I feel for Aiku because he finally gets to play soccer the way he's always wanted to play it. And you feel so good for him. And you're like, oh, that's so awesome. He gets to feel the most dangerous spot. And I'm like, Isagi's like, damn it, I want the flow too. So then we get the additional time. We get Sai getting his face all moisturized, cleaned up. They're like, he's so perfect and cool. Also, when Sindo's like, I bet he's trying to bag himself an actress, and the one guy is like, oh no, that's just you. He's not interested in women. But they're like, what kind of stuff would he put in his bag? So then they see his bag there, which is super cool. And they're like, let's do an emergency inspection. I do appreciate the one U20 guy is like, that's in his privacy. So they say a watch. When they said don't finger it too much, I was like, how much more sexual can we get this? Lotion and moisturizer, because skincare is important. And they have like the little crowns on them showing it's probably an expensive brand. Sunglasses to be popular. And then that's when they said, here's a second bag. So it could be that Aiku had the sunglasses and had, which, you know, would go with the cop theme. And it also has the moisturizer and stuff too, right? And the watch. That would all make sense for Aiku. I believe he would have that. But then bless Teppei's little heart for not knowing what an overnight bag is. That means that girl spent the night. That means that his girlfriend and him were quite intimate, which if I would be quite intimate with Aiku. I'm not going to lie. I would be quite intimate with Aiku. I would not kick him out of bed for eating crackers. That's for sure. But yeah, the earrings and the compact and the lipstick and the toothbrush. Yeah, girl was spending the night. That's all she needed. Yep. Although the fact that they all thought that Sai was possibly a drag queen, I mean, I could see it. Ryusei would be down for it. And like, the bag inspection was a success. They're like, now we have blackmail material. And then Aiku's like, oh, that's my ex-girlfriend's. So ladies and gentlemen, he is single and could be ready to mingle. Oh my God. It's like, we broke up, but she left her overnight bag at my place. And I was going to give it back to her today. And they're like, that's so misleading. And then Teppei, I love the little bags under Teppei's eyes being like, what's an overnight bag? And it's like, oh, dude, you sweet. And they're like, is she older? Are you into mature women? And they're like, what's an overnight bag? And it's like, Teppei's like, what do you mean overnight? Like, you weren't doing any naughty things, were you, Aiku? I mean, this series is sex, ships, and maybe some soccer. So, y'all, I've got some of this saved for supper. I didn't feel like chugging this whole thing. I don't want to get my shirt nasty, but oh my God. Such a good game. I'm so ready for episode 12. We're going to do episode 12 next week, and then episodes 13 and 14 will be together. So I'm so excited, y'all. I cannot even begin to tell you. So that's a thing. I hope you're ready. So yeah. Yep. Anyway, next week is going to be episode 12. I really hope they tie the game, and that will leave 13 and 14 to be like the end. But I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear what y'all think. So we'll just see what next week brings us, won't we? Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back real soon with episode 12 of Blue Lock. Bye.